Goglik is the editor of Early Learning Systems and Targeted Interventions for Student Success in Online Courses, which is a research publication examining curing theoretical frameworks, research projects, and empirical studies related to the design, implementation, and evaluation of online courses. Danny is also a lecturer at Mofet's Online Academy. If you have any question or comments during the webinar, you can write it in the chat area. Danny, the microphone is yours.
Thank you, Arya. Thank you very much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and I would like to welcome you to today's webinar. In today's webinar, we will be talking about social media. We'll be talking about social media and how to use social media to engage students in technology-enhanced learning environments. All right. The aims of today's webinar, ladies and gentlemen, are as follows. We will be discussing the benefits of using social media in online and blended learning environments. We will be discussing how social media can facilitate learning, how social media can make learning more effective. We will experience and analyze a mini social media enhanced activity, an activity using Twitter, blogs, YouTube, and Edmodo, and we will be discussing the benefits of social media tools for teachers and students. And finally, we will define and discuss the role of the teacher in technology-enhanced learning environments. All right, so let's get started. Let's get started. Before we begin, we are going to do a little warm-up poll. Look at the social media tools listed in the poll, and what I would like you to do is to select the social media tool that you are using or may have used or have used before in the past for teaching and learning. All right, so on your screen are actually more than five, 6 social media tools. I would like you to select the social media that you have used or are using, right, for teaching and learning, and I'll give you 30 seconds to do this. Which social media tools are you using for teaching and learning? If you're not using social media, or if you haven't used social media tools for teaching and learning, then select none, E, as answer. All right, so I'll give you 30 seconds for this. All right, which social media tools are you using for teaching and learning? All right, please use the chat tool. Please use the poll tool, not the chat, use the poll tool. All right, you can place your vote using the poll tool. All right, using the poll tool, not the chat tool. Right, we've got 2 communication tools. We've got the poll and the chat. All right, so the first question is a poll question. So to place your vote or to answer the question, please use the poll tool. All right, please use the poll tool. Okay, so let's look at the poll results. Let's look at the poll results. Let's look at the poll results. All right, so 16 out of 20 participants are using YouTube, right, for teaching and learning, all right? 1 participant is using Facebook for teaching and learning, all right? And 1 participant is using blogs or wikis. All right, so the poll results suggest that the most popular social media tool is YouTube, right? And the second most popular social media tools are Facebook and blogs and wikis. All right. All right, I'm now going to open, Arya and I are now going to open the microphones of the one person who selected B, Facebook, as the social media tool that he or she is using for teaching and learning, right? If you're using Facebook, right, for teaching and learning, could you please, we will open your microphone, right? If you could please share with us, right, your experience with using Facebook with your students, right? How are you using Facebook with your students? If you could please share with us your experience, share your experience, how you're using Facebook with your students, we will open your microphones. So the person who selected B, Facebook, as the social media tools that they're using for teaching and learning, could you please share with us, right? Share with the participants, right, the teaching strategies that you use with Facebook. Okay. All right, so I see that the person that selected Facebook changed his mind, right? However, we see that there is one person that selected D, blogs and wikis, as the correct answer. All right, so I will hand it over to Adele, who is using YouTube and Instagram. Arya, could you please open Adele's microphones?
The microphone is open.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Just to click on the microphone below and to see that the.
Okay, can you hear me?
Hi, yes. Hi Adele. Hi, good morning. So you're using YouTube and Instagram with your students, right?
YouTube with teachers, Instagram with a student project.
All right, could you please share with us why you think or how or why you think it's a good idea to use Instagram and YouTube with your students? Could you please share with us the benefits of Instagram and YouTube for teaching and learning?
Okay, so I run an Instagram program called One Photo 50 Words, and it's with other students in other schools. This year I'm not doing it with my students, but I'm doing it with students in other schools. The students can be from 7th grade until 12th grade. Different teachers in different schools in the rural English education department participate in it. And the program is that every 2 weeks there's a photo challenge. They have to take pictures. So for example, this week the photo challenge is winter. And they have to take a picture of something that represents winter for them and write, so it's one photo, 50 words. So they take one photo and they post it with the hashtag one photo, 50 words _winter. And they have to write about 50 words describing the picture or explaining why this represents winter to them or whatever. And
beautiful.
Then they respond to each other. Like, schools, kids in other schools. Here, Tommy just wrote that she participated in the program last year.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Adele. Thank you for sharing. Thank you very much for sharing with us. Thank you. Tammy, you participated in the program last year, right? So you're also using Instagram with your students, is that correct? You're using Instagram or Twitter with your students, is that correct, Tammy? Tammy, please open your microphone. All right, please open your microphone, click on your microphone. All right.
I used the program for students last year, but I don't usually use Instagram. That was the first time.
Right. Okay, all right. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for sharing, Tammy and Adele. Okay, so what are the benefits of social media for teachers and students? Why should we use social media? All right, why should we use social media? And I would like you to give as many reasons as possible why it is a good idea to use social media from a teacher's and a student's perspective. Please type your answers in the question box or in the chat box. Why it is a good idea to use social media from a teacher's and a student perspective. What are the benefits? What are the pedagogical benefits for teachers and students? What are the pedagogical benefits for students, for teachers? They're using social media. Why should we use social media with our students? All right, so please type your answer in the question box or in the chat box. All right, students feel comfortable, Iris. That is correct. Adele, catch them where they are. It's their language, absolutely. It's the real world. Ruben, students are there anyway, so they can, absolutely, Ruben. Natty, it's a platform that students are familiar with. Absolutely. Nirit, they love it. Tammy, it's their world. Ruth, social media is very attractive for them. Social media is very attractive for them, absolutely. It's attractive, it's appealing, it's effective, it's engaging. It's authentic because it's what they like and they're very familiar with. Keeps them engaged even when they're not in class. Absolutely. Yes, we're getting some great answers. We're getting some great answers. It's authentic, it's meaningful, it keeps them engaged. Absolutely. All right, Ruth is happy, and when Ruth is happy, we are happy. So these are some great answers. These are some great answers. Ruben, we used wikis so they can work collaborative and showcase. Thank you, Ruben. Ruben, could you please open your microphone, Ruben? Right, please open your microphone. Okay. Okay, and could you please share your experience, share with us how you are using or you have used wikis, right, for teaching and learning purposes, Ruben, how you have used or are using wikis for teaching and learning purposes, Ruben. Please open your microphone, Ruben. Ruben, can you hear me? Please, yeah, please open your microphone, right? How you are using or have used wikis, right, for teaching and learning purposes. All right, Ruben, I think Ruben is having some technical issues with the microphone. All right, having problem. All right, so you can please type the answer, your experience with the wikis in the chat tool. All right. All right, so on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, are some of the benefits, of social media for teachers and students. And let's go over those benefits one by one. All right. First, social media promotes research-based learning, right? Social media promotes research-based learning. It promotes research-based learning. It also develops students' high-order thinking skills, critical thinking, all right, which is an important 21st century skill, all right? It promotes collaborative learning. Students can collaborate with other students through social media, using social media. It facilitates communication and increases engagement. Next, students can communicate with experts in relevant fields, all right? It promotes student autonomy. And finally, attitude towards learning is improved. It increases student motivation. It boosts student motivation. Learning is more meaningful. Learning is more authentic. Learning is more real, all right? But let's go back to the first advantage or benefit. It promotes research-based learning. How, in your opinion, right, can social media promote research-based learning? How can it promote research-based learning or research-based learning? How does social media promote research-based learning? Please type your answers in the chat tool. How social media can promote research-based learning? How do you think it promotes research-based learning, project-based learning? Yes, Adele, that is correct. It's true. You can find experts on Twitter, right? You can find experts on Twitter, absolutely. Yes. using Twitter, you can find experts, right? And then you can, you know, contact or tweet, right? Or send questions to experts in various fields, right? So if you're teaching, if you teach, let's say, history, you can, you know, contact a historical figure, or you can contact, you know, researchers or people specializing in history. All right, historians, asking them questions, collecting information. All right, Marion, first, because they need to learn the identity false information based on the source. It's easy for the students to look for information materials on the internet. That is correct. So in order to promote research-based learning, which is, you know, a very important 21st century skill, we can ask students to, you know, to watch some YouTube videos, right, on a certain topic, right, and a topic which is related or links to your weekly learning objectives or learning aims. So if we teach, let's say if you're a history teacher, if you teach history, American history, all right, you can ask students to, you know, watch 2 or 3 like YouTube videos, right, about the American, you know, let's say about Benjamin Franklin, right? Watching YouTube videos about Benjamin Franklin. This would be the first step, right? To do some research on Benjamin Franklin. This is the first step. Next, right? You ask them to use Twitter, right? To send questions, right? To send questions to historical figures, right? To asking them to send questions to historical figures or to share their you know, their knowledge about, you know, Benjamin Franklin with their followers, right? Next, we can create a Facebook page where students upload their work or the project or share their information, you know, with their classmates or with other group members. Okay, so Adele is doing a grammar lesson with station rotation tomorrow, and one of the stations uses YouTube. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is one of the models that we're going to be exploring or discussing later in the webinar, right? How to use station rotation model, how to use Facebook. Okay. By giving students research tasks, watch catch animals, YouTube, assess what you agree or disagree to keep animals in a zoo. Absolutely, absolutely. Right, by giving students research tasks, watch cage animals on YouTube and state why you agree or disagree to keep animals in the zoo. Exactly, when watching YouTube videos, right, in order to increase motivation, right, and in order to make the learning or the, you know, the task more engaging and more interesting, always ask students, right, to watch YouTube videos, right, on controversial topics which are, you know, somewhat controversial, right? Death penalty, you know, caged animals, right? Caged animals on YouTube state why you agree or disagree to keep animals in a zoo. All right. So I mean, in order to
excuse me, there's a real problem with your sound.
Arya, could you please mute the microphones? I think there's some background noise. If you could please mute the microphone, or if you could put.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Just try to speak a little bit slowly.
All right.
Maybe it will be better.
All right. Okay, if you could please close the microphones. There is some background noise.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. So again, back to the first benefit: research-based learning. Research-based learning. We can use YouTube videos to promote research-based learning. All right. Using research-based learning, asking students to watch YouTube videos on a controversial topic, right? A controversial topic, a topic which will make them say something, express their opinion about the topic, right? It has to be controversial, right? A topic, a video which will make them, you know, want to say something, express their opinion about the topic. right? So it could be a video about, you know, death penalty, yes or no, right? It could be a video, right? You can ask them to watch a video, as one of the participants mentioned, about a video about caged animals, right? To state whether they agree or disagree, right? To keep animals in a zoo, all right? The first step would be asking students or having students watch one or more videos, YouTube videos, right, on a controversial topic, okay, which should relate or link to your weekly classroom objectives, okay. This is the first step. Next, after they watch the video, all right, you can ask them, right, to share their opinion, right, the advantages and disadvantages, right, to identify the problem and to offer a solution, right, identify the problem and offer a solution, right. Solution can be offered, or they can, you know, share their opinion or the solution through, you know, social media, through Twitter, Instagram, all right, and to share their opinion, okay. So the first step would be asking them to watch YouTube videos, identifying the problem on a controversial topic, right? Videos related to on the controversial topic. Next, asking them to identify the problem and offer a solution, right? Offer a solution. The solution should be, it should be done in pairs or groups through, you know, collaborative learning, right? Remember, learning is a social process. So the solution that students come up with, right, should be done, you know, through group work, pair work, all right, where they discuss with pairs or in groups the problem, identify the problem, and offer a solution, right? The solution can be posted on, you know, on a wiki. It can be posted on, or they can produce a YouTube video. Right, where they share their solution, right, with the rest of the group. All right, so they identify the problem, right, and in pairs or groups, they discuss possible solutions. Once they come up with a solution, right, they produce a video. Right, and then they upload the video to YouTube. And then they can vote, right, for the best solution, for the most creative solution. Okay, so we're talking about a process, right, a research-based process or a research-based task, where the first step is watching one or more YouTube videos on a controversial topic. This is the first step. Second step, identifying the problem. All right. Third step, in pairs or groups, right? Looking for solutions or offering solutions to the problem, trying to overcome or solve the problem, right? Once they find a solution, once they have a solution, once they come up with a solution, they can produce a video, right? A video where they share their ideas, their solutions, right, to the problem. The video is then uploaded to YouTube, to a school YouTube channel, to a class YouTube channel, to your institution's YouTube channel, which can be password protected. All right. Once they've uploaded the video to their YouTube channel, all right, the next step would be to vote for the best video or for the best solution, right? 2 months ago, I was invited to a school in Newport Beach, Southern California, Orange County in Southern California, where students use, you know, social media, right, as part of end of year research project, or end of semester, end of term research project. Right? Then at the end of the semester, students showcase, right, or present their videos or their solutions to the community, right? Schools or the school invite parents, families, members from the local community, a 1 day or a 2 day event where students share their solutions to the problem. They present the solutions to the community. All right. So in order to make learning more effective and more meaningful, right? In order to increase student motivation, right? Project-based learning, right? Project-based learning is, is an effective way or methodology, right? To increase student motivation and to make learning more effective, right? Project-based learning is an important 21st century skill. Being able to identify problem, being able to offer solutions to problems. All right. So we can use research-based learning, right, or promote research-based learning using YouTube, right, using social media, using Twitter, using Instagram. All right. So research-based learning and developing students' high-order thinking skills are two the benefits of social media for students and teachers. All right. We're getting some great comments. See that Nirit, let's see, pupils can upload their own video on YouTube. Absolutely, Nirit. They can upload their their video to YouTube. They can also, once they come up with a solution, they can, they can produce either a radio show or a talk show, right? They can produce a radio show or a talk show, right? Where student A is, let's say, would be a talk show host, right? Student B would be like a specialist, right? A scientist or a specialist, right? Who came up with a solution, right? To this problem, right? To overcome a problem. And then they can produce a talk show or a radio show where student A interviews student B, the expert or the consultant, all right? They videotape this lesson, they record the lesson or the interview, which is then uploaded to the school YouTube channel. Marian Valdez used Flipgrid that way, an app they can use to upload a video, right? They can use it from their smartphones and it's pretty easy to use both as educators and students. Flipgrid. Marianne, can you hear me? If you could please share your experience with Flipgrid. What were the aims of this task? What were the objectives of this activity using Flipgrid? What were the objectives of this activity? If you could please elaborate or share with us your experience with this tool.
Of course, good evening. Pretty much what I've used is Flipgrid in order to evaluate them orally. Let's say that we've had like a pretty rough quarter or semester with, like in my country, we have a lot of holidays. So whenever that happens, what I do is that if I need to have like a weekly or like a monthly oral evaluation that because of the holidays or something, we didn't have the opportunity to evaluate in the classroom or it took too long, then what I do is that let's talk about this and let's share our videos. And then after I evaluate them, I let them see their videos in the classroom so they see how they have also evolved, let's say. And they can also keep that further on track.
Right, Marianne. Thank you, Marianne. Natty is using Flipgrid. Also, it's a great tool. Absolutely. Learning is about, learning is about learning is a social process. Learning is a social process. It goes back to Vygotsky's theory, 1978, right? Social constructivism. Learning is a social process. We learn by sharing. We learn by, interacting with other students. We learn by sharing information, right? Thinking with others, right? So using social media, we can really promote this social constructivism theory, right? Vygotsky's social constructivism theory, right? Again, going back to the previous example, right? In order to promote research-based learning, right, students could watch videos, identify problems, come up with a solution, and then produce a video or a radio ad, and then post or upload the video, the ad to the school YouTube channel, right? And then they can vote for the best ad, for the most creative one, All right. Okay. And they can also, you know, showcase their work or the projects to the community, right? You can invite, you know, parents, members of the local community, right? To a 1 day, 2 day, 3 day event where students share their work, their solutions, their projects, right? With the local community. Okay. All right. Herman, some social media platforms like Twitter give students the chance to expose their ideas on specific topics so they can participate of a debate through social media. Absolutely, absolutely. Sharing information, expressing opinion. All right, Twitter. So we're going to watch a video, a short video about best practices in Twitter. Best practices in Twitter, all right? How to use Twitter for educational purposes, all right? While watching the video, please note down 2 or 3 ways in which Twitter facilitates communication and increases engagement. All right, so we're gonna watch this 3-minute video. All right, so please note 2 or 3 ways, right, in which Twitter facilitates communication, increases engagement. All right, so let's watch this short video.
For the second part of the series on one-way connections, where users can follow your tweets and you can follow other users' tweets. Okay. I'm going to look at some basic best practices in education. 2 of the fundamental principles of integrating Twitter in an educational context are, 1, bridging the gap between the classroom and everything outside of the classroom, and 2, reducing some of the social barriers that exist within the classroom. Okay, number 1, encourage students to ask questions about the course material, and relevant topics.
So how Twitter facilitates communication, ladies and gentlemen. Twitter encourages students to ask questions about the course, right? Asking questions about the course, share relevant materials such as blog posts, articles, photos, videos. So it has both academic or pedagogical value as well as administrative benefits. Right? We can use Twitter as a forum to discuss class assignments, to ask questions, to clarify doubts, all right? To communicate with experts in relevant fields, right? To communicate with experts, to create a list of scholars in relevant fields for students to follow, right? So if, you know, let's say you're, I don't know, if you teach art, all right? Or if you teach, if you're a music teacher, an art teacher, then you can, you know, create a list of some famous artists, or, you know, people specializing in, you know, in music. And finally, use Twitter to remind students of assignment deadlines. So Twitter can be used for, you know, a wide range of, you know, reasons or purposes, ranging from pedagogical to administrative to course-related reasons. All right. All right. So we're now going to look at an example which illustrates how Twitter can be used to promote creative thinking. All right. This example shows how Twitter can be used to promote creative thinking. If you're a history teacher, all right, if you teach history, you can use Twitter to teach American history. All right. How do we use Twitter to teach American history? First, right, we identify a historical figure that we would like to use with our learners, right? Benjamin Franklin, right? The historical figure should link to the topic that we already teach, US history. Next, students prepare a list of questions that they would like to ask that historical figure. All right. So the first step is to identify a historical figure. All right. And then prepare a list of questions that you would like your students to ask that historical figure. Okay. Next, so you tell your students to prepare a list of questions that you would like to ask that historical figure. All right, and then students click or send a tweet to Benjamin Franklin. All right, so they can follow Benjamin Franklin on Twitter or any other historical figure. All right, they can also follow Donald Trump on Twitter. And he will get back to them right away. I mean, he's on Twitter all the time. So they can follow Benjamin Franklin or Donald Trump, all right? They can send their tweets or questions to President Franklin, all right, who will answer the question, right, usually within 24 hours, all right? So, so the first step is to identify historical figure. The second step is to send them a list of questions, all right? And then the third step is to share the answers, right? Share the answers with their classmates, all right? Sharing the answers with the classmates, all right? So this is how you use Twitter, right? In order to promote creative learning, right? Now, how can we modify, or how would you modify or this activity to make it relevant to your students, right? So if you're an art teacher or a music teacher or a science teacher or a language teacher, an English teacher, how would you modify this activity, all right? Or who would you ask your students to contact, right? Or to send their question to if you're not a teacher of history? How would you modify this activity, right? If you're not a teacher of history or history teacher, please type your answer in the chat tool. How would you modify, or how would you use the same activity, right? to make it relevant to your students? Please type your answer in the chat tool. How would you make the same activity? How would you use this activity to make it relevant to your students? How would you use Twitter, right, to teach music, to teach art, to teach geography, to teach chemistry? It can be a playwright, music writer. Yes, you can ask your students to tell your students to send their questions to a writer, to a musician, to an author. All right. All right. So yeah, you can use the same activity with can make some fine tuning or some minor adjustments or changes to this activity. So if you are a history teacher, right, your students can send the questions to Benjamin Franklin. Susie, teach linguistics. When I have a student read an article, I could have them tweet their questions to the authors we read. Absolutely, absolutely, Susie. Ruben, we could use the same idea with the biblical character. That is correct. So if you teach, the Bible, right? If you teach Bible, if you teach religion, right, then we can send the same questions or similar questions to a biblical character, right? A character from, from the Bible. All right, Natty, ask questions about the past event or look for witnesses in a crime. Right. Right. Jack. We once used Twitter to act out. Yeah. Rotem, I'm an English teacher. I use the textbook site and ask students to choose a famous person and create profile for that person. They need to write post. Wonderful, Rotem. Yes, you can create a profile. You can create a profile, right? Absolutely. For language students, I would ask them to follow a famous character and run an interview. Yeah, we're getting some great ideas, some wonderful ideas. These are all excellent ideas, right? Right. You can ask students to choose a famous person, create a profile, right? You can contact or follow a famous character, a book character. All right. Absolutely, absolutely. All right. Now, so this is a great activity for the study, not only for the study of history, but also for the study of science, geography, or art. So if you're a science teacher, right, then you can ask your students to tweet their questions or send their questions to Edison. If you're a geography teacher, then ask your students to tweet or send their questions to, famous explorers, all right? And if you're an art teacher, then you can ask your students to send their questions, right, to famous artists or painters or musicians, okay? Right, Dvora wants to know, Dvora is asking, who tweets for Benjamin Franklin or for Edison? Who tweets for Benjamin Franklin? I guess a person who really admires Benjamin Franklin, a person who, admires him or admires his legacy. So there are people that, create this Benjamin Franklin profile, right? They get your tweets. They usually get back to you with, they answer your questions within 24 hours. These are people that create those, fake profiles of historical figures or scientists or artists. All right, a person who is interested in, history or the history or American history. All right, so you're welcome, Dvora. You're welcome. All right, Orly, class tools, Facebook. Orly, would you like to share your experience with class tools, Facebook, your experience using class tools? Orly? Please open your microphone. And if you can share your experience, with class tools as, can you hear us, Orly? trying. All right. All right. So you seem, I think you're having a minor technical issue with your microphone. So if you're a science teacher, you can ask students to tweet questions to famous inventors like Edison. All right. If you're a geography teacher, you can ask your students to tweet their questions to famous explorers like Marco Polo. And if you teach literature or art, you can ask your students to interview a famous writer or an artist, right? All right, so this activity can be, you know, modified, right? It can be modified. You can make some adjustments or modifications to this activity to make it relevant, to your students, okay? So they interview the historical figure or the scientist or the inventor or the author, and then they share their answers, right, with their classmates. All right. All right. So we continue with the next social media tool, ladies and gentlemen. This time we want to talk about YouTube. Yes, Ruben, Donald Trump. So this time we want to talk about YouTube. We want to talk about YouTube. We want to talk about how to use YouTube in the flipped classroom. Using YouTube in the flipped classroom. All right. So first of all, I mean, let's try and define or talk about the differences between traditional model and the flip model. What is the difference between traditional and flip model, right? Traditional versus flip model. Traditional model, right, is a model where students read over materials, listen to lectures, students do the homework assignments, students are passive, they're not active, right? And the teacher is the main source of knowledge, right? The teacher is active, students are passive. This is a traditional model. A flip model is a model where students practice applying new concepts, applying key concepts, all right? Students check understanding and extend learning to more complex tasks, right? In other words, a flip model is a model where students watch short videos, short instructional videos at home, right? They take notes and then they come to school with questions, right? So this promotes higher order thinking. This model promotes higher order thinking. This is a model where students watch videos, they take notes, right? And they come to school with questions, all right? What is the focus, right? What is the focus of classwork, right? The purpose of, you know, the face-to-face sessions is to address questions and to extend learning to more complex tasks. All right. So in the flip model, we are in a way redefining the role of the teacher, right? We're redefining the role of the teacher from being a sage on the stage to being a guide on the side, from being a lecturer to being a monitor, to being a coach, to being a guide, to being a facilitator, right? Students watch the instructional videos at home, they take notes, they come to class with questions, and then in pairs or groups, they analyze the videos, right? And they provide solutions to problems, right? They provide solutions to problems. It promotes higher order thinking. This promotes critical thinking, all right? So what are the benefits? What are the benefits of flip model for teachers and students? What are the benefits of watching short YouTube videos at home and coming to schools with questions, right? Please use the chat tool, right? Write about the benefits, some of the benefits of flip learning over traditional face-to-face teaching methods. Why should we flip, or why flip? What are the advantages and the benefits of flip learning over traditional face-to-face teaching? Why should students be encouraged to watch YouTube videos at home and come to school with questions? All right, so please Type your answer in the chat tool. What are the benefits of flipped learning? A model where students watch the video at home, they watch YouTube videos at home and come to school with questions. What are the benefits for students? What are the benefits? Right, we're getting some great answers. We're getting some great ideas. They can listen to instructions several times. Absolutely. Herman, it promotes student autonomy. Correct. In my eyes, students bring their personal interest. Absolutely. Ruth, the time in class is completely dedicated to activities, not to explain the subject. Correct. Students come prepared. They don't waste time on seeing, hearing the material. Correct. It is better use of time. Yes. They're not bored. It gives students an actual real life situation to apply what they've been required, learn in class. Yes. That is correct. All right, they can watch it a few times. Right, exactly. All right, so a flip model, ladies and gentlemen, enables students access to tools and technologies. It empowers students. It gives students control over learning. It promotes student autonomy, right? It promotes student autonomy, all right? It gives them control over learning. It is more student-centered, right? It is a more student-centered learning environment where the role of the teacher, in a way, is changing from being a lecturer to being a facilitator, from being a guide, from being a sage on the stage to being a guide on the side. This model, the flip model, enables student collaboration, right? It enables student collaboration, and learning is a social process. One cannot learn in isolation. You learn by sharing ideas. You learn by exchanging ideas with peers, right? Student involvement, it's more student-centered, right? It increases student motivation, right? It increases student motivation, all right? And it makes learning more effective. Students watch the video at home, right? They come to class with questions, right? About areas or about topics and concepts which may require, you know, clarity or clarification, all right? So the flip model is a very effective model, especially in a social media enhanced environment. All right. So how does YouTube facilitate learning? How does YouTube make learning more effective? Right. First, using flip model, we can flip the classroom. We can make learning more effective. Again, having students watch YouTube videos, identify problems, and then come to class with questions. All right. Video bank of lessons, right? We can create video bank of lessons. We can upload the lessons. Lessons can be uploaded to the school YouTube channel, right? So students can always go back to this video channel, to this YouTube channel, watch the videos, right? And to clarify doubts. All right. Station rotation model. Station rotation model, right? What is a station rotation model? Right? A station rotation model is a model where, you know, some students can watch the videos, right? Can watch their YouTube videos on their smartphones, you know, on their tablets, right? And then, you know, other students work or do a mini project, a station rotation model. And the green screen effect, making it real. Green screen effect, right, is a project done in the south of Israel, done by English teachers, right, that use YouTube videos, right, to increase student motivation, right, using the green screen effect. We're going to watch a short video. We're going to watch a short video, right, using the green screen effect. Right. So using YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, and using this green screen effect, right, students can create or students can produce their own YouTube videos, right, using, you know, popular films as background, using, you know, Frozen and other Disney movies or other popular movies, right? And then those videos can be uploaded to the school YouTube channel. Now, these are highly motivated students, They learn English, they produce their own YouTube videos, right? So again, by integrating new technology into the classroom, by using social media, by using YouTube, we can make learning more interesting, more effective. We can increase student motivation. Students use social media every day, all day, right? So in order to make learning more meaningful, more authentic, more, you know, more engaging, then we could, you know, use social media and have students create YouTube videos using this green screen effect. Next, we can use YouTube videos or YouTube, right, to connect to other students or to produce short YouTube videos, right, introducing, you know, families, introducing your family as part of a long-distance Ski Pal project, all right, or as part of a long-distance Web Pal project. So if you're, you know, if you teach language, if you're a language teacher, if you're an English teacher, if you teach linguistics, right? If you teach, you know, languages, if you're a language teacher, an English teacher, then you can ask your students to produce a short video, right? A YouTube video where they introduce their family as part of a long distance Ski Pal or Web Pals project. Let's watch the video. Now watch the video. Yes. Example of how YouTube can be used, right? How you can use YouTube, right, to increase student motivation, to make learning more engaging, right, more authentic, right, where students produce a short YouTube video introducing families as part of a long distance Ski Pals or Web Pals project. Right. Talila, could you please open your microphone and share your experience with YouTube? How are you using YouTube with your students? I see that you're doing some an interesting project with your students using YouTube. Could you please share your experience with using YouTube? Could you please open your microphone, Talila? Can you hear me? All right. She seems to be having, I think she's having some technical problems with her microphone. All right. Next, ladies and gentlemen, wikis, right? Using wikis in the classroom, how to effectively integrate Wiki into your curriculum, into your classroom. All right. So let's look at the following example of how middle school chemistry teachers use wikis to review the topic of acids and bases. All right, so let's look at this example. All right, first, we tell students, or the objectives of this project is to identify the differences between acids and bases. Identify acids and bases, match the pH numbers with commonly found acids and bases, and promote communication and collaboration. All right, so the objectives of this mini project is to identify differences between acids and bases. Now, so in terms of the implementation flow, or the flow of this project or lesson, right? The wiki task or the wiki project must be accompanied by prepare activities and review activities, right? In other words, for this wiki task to be successful, right, it has to be, or it must be accompanied by a prepare activity where we prepare students for the wiki task, right, where we prepare them for the wiki project or wiki task, and a review and assess stage, right, where we assess students on their project, right? So for this project to be successful, it has to be accompanied by pre and post, by prepare and review tasks. All right. Before the activity, we divide students into groups of 4. We divide them into groups of 4. We assign each student with a role. Student A would be a designer, student B, content researcher, student C or 3, a writer, and student 4, proofreader. All right. Next, we ensure learners understand what the role entails, right? Designing the layout of the wiki, compiling class notes, and so on. All right. And then we instruct students, right, to visit the wiki page, right, and to create the wiki, right? We ask them to visit the page and to create the wiki, right? All right. So on your screen is an example of the wiki page, right, or a wiki site on the topic of acids and bases, right? This is where students describe the topic, right, and answer the questions about differences between acids and bases. Now, during the activity, learners can add information, right? They add information, they edit each other's work, they edit each other entries or definitions. And the second step is an important one, is an important step, right? We as teachers, right, we should set clear learning objectives and outcomes for the activity, right? The activity must have clear learning objectives and clear outcomes, right? And we need to share the assessment, the assessment rubrics with the student, right? We have to share the assessment rubrics with the students, right? Students need to know what and how, or what they will be assessed on, right? The assessment criteria for this project, right? You have to share, we have to share the assessment criteria with the students, all right? There are teachers who build or create the assessment criteria together with the students, right? They design or create the criteria checklist together with the students. If students are part of this process, if students are part of the decision-making process, then they're more likely, right, or chances are that this will increase their motivation, all right? If they are part of the decision-making process, if they are part of the, if they're going to create a rubric, right, or the checklist for assessing the task, then chances are that this will increase their motivation. All right. Finally, learners can communicate with other, with domain experts, right? With domain experts using social media. All right. Now, after the activity, after they've created the wiki, after they posted or, they talk about the differences between acids and bases, right? We encourage students to reflect on their learning, right? Reflection is an important aspect, important part of a learning. Research shows that reflection is associated with improved learning outcomes, with improved learning gains, right? Students that reflect on their learning, right, show better results, show better or improved learning gains, all right? So how do we help students reflect on their learning, right? We help them reflect on their learning through tweeting self-reflective comments or writing a short blog entry, asking them to reflect on the following questions. What did you enjoy most about the activity? What did you enjoy least about the activity? How well did the group work together? And what would you do differently next time? All right, so by asking students to reflect, right, or to write a short blog entry, right, answering these reflection questions, right, this will make learning more meaningful, right? Now we can use, or you can use, you can choose to use the reflection as part of the students' final grades, right? Their blog entries, right, and their self-reflective tweets could count towards the final grade. This can be part of the final grade or part of students' e-portfolio, electronic portfolio, right, which will be part of the final grade. All right, and on your screen is an example, is a sample rubric for assessing the wiki, right? Basically, this rubric can be used by students and teachers to assess the students' wiki, okay? In terms of understanding of the subject matter, content, communication, and collaboration. All right. All right, we've got only a few minutes left, so I think I'll skip the next section, the next slide about Edmodo, right? Edmodo can also facilitate learning. You can use Edmodo, as a tool to increase student motivation. Anya, we have used that in teachers' preparation. Each person shows a theme, creates a lesson plan, including all the elements you have mentioned. At the end, we had both self-reflection and feedback and discussion, assessment itself and by others. Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, I mean, if we go back, going back to the wiki, right? You can follow these guidelines, right? This procedure, right? And again, for this to be effective, right? For this to be effective, the wiki activity, right, must be accompanied by pre and post, by prepare, review, and assess, and an assessment, right, and self-reflection. Self-reflection is an important aspect, important part of the learning process, right? It develops students' reflection, metacognition. It helps them identify their own areas of weakness. It helps them identify their own areas of weakness and strength. And again, when creating the rubric, right? When creating the rubric, right? The rubric can be and actually should be created together with the students. They should be part of the decision-making process. If they are part of the decision-making process, then chances are that, this will increase their motivation. All right. Okay. All right. Go back to the previous slide. All right. All right. There seems to be a problem with the next slide. Not sure why. Arya, can you hear me? Arya? Hello, Arya, can you hear me?
Danny?
Ken? Yeah?
Can you hear me?
Yeah?
Yes. Do you have any problem?
Yeah, I mean, the screen, at least the screen froze. I mean, there seems to be a problem with the next slide. Can you see my screen? Well, what do you see on your screen, Arya?
The title is Summary of Main Findings.
Okay, well, in my case, I think, just hold on a sec. In my case, my screen froze. All right, my screen froze, Arya. So
you can summarize.
Yes, so maybe I will summarize. I will to recap, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, to recap, that was I mean, the purpose of today's introductory webinar, ladies and gentlemen, was to give you an overview, a very, brief overview.
Danny, are you with us? Danny, can you hear me? Danny, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me, Arya?
Yes, now it is okay.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right. No, the screen, the PowerPoint froze. So so let's do this. Let's I'll hand it over to you, Arya, because my screen froze. I think the presentation. Okay, let's see.
Now I see the course object.
Yes. All right. Yes. All right. I'll continue.
Okay,
if you don't mind. All right, thank you. So again, the purpose of today's webinar, ladies and gentlemen, was to give you a very brief overview, right? Quick overview of how social media can be effectively integrated into the classroom, right? The benefits of social media, all right? How to use Twitter, right? To to contact historical figures, how to use wikis to do some project-based learning, how to use YouTube to produce videos with your students, all right? All right, Ari, I think I'll hand it over to you. I'm having some minor technical problems with the presentation, so I will hand it over to you, Arya, if you don't mind. Yes. Can you see my screen, Arya? All right. Okay, Arya, can you hear me?
Danny, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you see my screen, the course overview page, the course overview slide on your screen?
Yes, you can.
Okay, brilliant.
Speak about the course now. Okay.
Okay. So so the course, ladies and gentlemen, consists of 5 units, right? Each unit is taught over 2 to 3 weeks. All right. This is a 14-week course, right? It includes independent assignments, independent tasks around YouTube videos, PowerPoint presentations, right? And it's combined with collaborative tasks, right? Where you interact with other course participants via the course social media tools, right? To complete the assignment, right? There are 2 sync lessons, live sessions, one at the beginning of the course, week 1, and one towards the end of the course, week 13 or 14. So there are 2 sync sessions. Okay. in terms of the outcomes, right, by the end of this 14-week course, you will be able to do the following: to effectively integrate social media into your course or into your curriculum, to design effective social media enhanced activities using Twitter, using YouTube, using wikis, using Instagram, to design your own social media enhanced course using effective instructional design principles, right? By instructional design principles, I mean principles, you know, the assessment criteria, the rubrics, right, reflect a set of predefined objectives, where they reflect a set of predefined aims, where the assessment tools or where the course assessment criteria, right, are aligned with the predefined course objectives, right? And finally, by the end of this course, you will be able to assess students' social media activities using rubrics and self-reflection. All right. The main assignment or the main project, there is a capstone project or a mini project, right? It's a project where you design your own social media enhanced course, right? It's a mini course or a mini task or an activity, right? And then in the last 5 weeks, of the course participants will try out selected activities from their peers' courses, right? They will try out selected activities from their peer courses and give and receive feedback. So you're going to put all the theory, you will put the theory into practice by creating, right, your own social media enhanced activity, right? And experiencing this activity as a student, right? In other words, you will try out selected activities from peers, right, and give feedback to other course participants. All right. All right. So this, ladies and gentlemen, brings the webinar to an end. Right. For more information on this, on the social media course, right, please visit the Online Academy website. Right. I will. Please visit the Academy website, and I will hand it over to Arya for more information about the course.
Danny, thanks you very much. It was an excellent webinar. Tomorrow we will send you all the recording of the webinar, the PowerPoint presentation, and more information about the course of Danny at the Mofet's Online Academy. I hope that you will visit us or join the course of Danny, and thanks again to Danny, and have a good day.